whole William and Gabe bromance going on. That will be super fucking cool. I can't hear your responses, but I'm sure I'm getting a look from Mystic and be like, no. But Gabe is like, oh yes.
So you actually enjoyed the ending of that?
I enjoyed the movie. I won't necessarily say I enjoyed the end.
Fair enough. So, welcome to another episode of Take a Breath, weekly review of our Chronicles of Vampire the Masquerade. What was it? Last breath, final breath, a breath.
Breathing.
Shit, I forgot to do something. Go on. It was
Breathing's hard.
Yeah, breathing is hard, especially when you have asthma. It sucks.
Yeah. Welcome to Vampire the Masquerade, albuterol inhaler.
Not wrong.
Today we're joined by myself, Mystic 7 Gaming, aka the Rono Gaming, and I play Frank in game, our storyteller.
Hi.
Introduction.
Hi, I'm Junie. I disguise for living. I will play too. How are you? Oh, and he also plays William because we got a bromance thingy going on and we can't ignore that.
How many bros does it take to get to the serial center of a Dr. Sexy Pop? Let's find out.
At least 7 or 8.
You might want to move yourself a wee bit more because you're almost off. Yeah.
This way?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's better.
Okay, my back hurts when I do that. It'll be fine.
That's why you move your chair with you.
Well, what you don't see because of this truncated true Bruhanness is that there's stuff here, there's stuff there. I'm literally a sardine in a can. But we're taking away from the introduction of Dr. Sexy, aka Gabe.
Sorry.
It's okay. Dr. Sexy can wait. You have to wait for the sexy. It's fine.
Bringing Sexy back.
I'm Cyberk. I play Gabe Tremere on the show, so also known as Dr. Sexy, aka Daddy.
Who's his daddy and what does he do? Well, he's clearly a fucking doctor. Yeah. And on that, let's go ahead and dive in. There's a little bit to unpack about yesterday.
A little?
Just a smidge. So if I recall, the opening scene, at least for us, was Frank and Gabe at his warehouse. Frank just fucked right off immediately because he has been morbidly obsessed with tracking down his sire to return the favor.
It was more of an unhealthy stalking feeling, yeah.
Yeah, morbidly obsessed, I think is pretty accurate. Leaving Dr. Sexy on his own for the billionth time. Nothing new.
Fair.
I mean, not even a consideration, a cuddle hug, a snug, or a...
Not a goodbye note.
Yeah,
Nope, nothing.
As
not
a true
even
Brewha, do I
farewell.
care?
No.
I'm rolling with a -2 modifier every time I go for anything, personality related.
I just
so-
thought that for your best friend, you could fake it a little.
Ooh.
So, I'm not mad. I'm just disappointed.
Oh, it's okay. I returned the favor later when I was in the sewers, but we'll get to
Yeah,
that.
fair.
Ow.
So, taking a step away from Frank, that leads into Gabe and the rest of the party getting in contact, picking up some coffee from Scarlet Drop. What blends did you snag for the party?
So I had specifically gotten a dark roasted blend for Amelia. Dr. Sexy prefers something a little sweeter, maybe like a little caramel, like macchiato or something.
A nice little mocha boy.
Yeah. And
Wow.
while Gabe was doing that, was getting coffee for the children, Abel went off to go replace his phone because somebody had given his phone number to, who was it, his grandchildren? Yeah. And he didn't like that. So
Biological? Oh, I missed that. Oh, I thought
That
they were
was-
just little ghouls.
I
That
did
was at
too.
the end of the session beforehand. As you guys were driving home, he got a text on his phone saying, "Thank you so much for this." Yeah, I think it was like, "Thank you so much for the setup of the savings accounts. We love it, Grandpa," or "We love you, Grandpa."
Oh, if only Frank knew. That would
just-
complicate things.
That just slid right underneath, and nobody.
Yeah. The only
I'll
person
say
that it shook
this.
was Abel.
I will say this. I'm curious about his family line as a player. I'm very
He
curious.
has a daughter with 2 grandkids. Yeah, that is a
Yeah.
thing.
Well, we're going to fix that problem.
It's a problem. You don't.
We're
know
gonna
about
fix it.
Oh, I mean, I'm a fixer.
Yeah, but you don't know that he has family.
I don't know it yet, but that's a problem that will get fixed eventually, I'm sure. All it
No
takes is
problem
one
for
good slip
future
up.
us.
That's a problem for future Abel. Because Frank is all about cutting loose ends.
Oh,
Oh, do
then we're
we
gonna have a
know?
problem.
Yeah, there's going to be a rumble.
Yeah.
Like, he
Uh,
killed my sire, I'm going to kill him.
So Abel went and took care of that. Gabe picked up Amelia, who in the morning had a premonition. You want to regale us with that premonition, Junie? A little bit of insight from that.
The hour was
Okay.
9:24 p.m.
Hold on.
Something
It was a
something
Saturday.
involving a lot of Malkavians and a lot of fancy headpieces.
Yes, actually, sorry, I had to cut
They looked
into
like
the
something out
screen
of
to pull it
X-Men.
out. Just so I can remember, because it's been a hot minute. I went to sleep. So the vision is that she woke up, she was drawn into the network. The idea of using the premonition is a way of the network trying to communicate some things at times to you that you really don't want or really understand. Even though she doesn't have the premonition gift within the Auspex
Southern
line,
Internet.
she's Malkavian. She got pulled in. So
It's more like you don't want to see this, but I'm giving it to you anyway.
you need to know this. You need to see this.
Yeah.
There you
Malkav
go.
acts in strange ways. He giveth and he taketh away.
You're not wrong.
Oh,
So
hail the mighty Malkav.
pretty much. So she comes into seeing this vision of actually seeing Stanislaw, this very powerful Malkavian, who's causing all of this issue. Then she sees the Keelised, and then the camera pans out to seeing this big long banquet table, and then seeing Anastasia, seeing William, seeing son, Mrs. O'Leary, who ironically enough was dead in the first season, but she is not dead right now. How does that work? And many other Malcavs that she may or may not have known. Even there was a guest appearance by James being dragged to the table, which for some unknown reason, how did he get out of the time bubble? Is he in the time bubble? Where was he pulled into it? We don't know. So with all of that, she starts seeing all of this stuff going on, and then from there, as the camera pans out, she sees that she is standing on a balcony overlooking this banquet of what's going on, and that's when she talks to Artemis. And as you know, Artemis is talking about things. She's like, I don't know if this is in or out of time. I'm not sure where you're at. I don't know where I'm at, but that's my child. And there's William. And then while they're talking, Amelia notices that Art is in a very futuristic clothing that's not normal in 2020. So she's like, why are you dressed up in that? And then Amelia notices that she's in an old antique ball gown based in like the 1880s, 1890s. So we're talking Victorian era dress. And then from there,
if only she would act her damn age.
I know. Well, she then sees Artemis's and William's sire and her own sire join the table.
Ooh.
From there, the Stanislaus stands up, says, to the beginning of a new dark age in our world, and as these black inky tentacles come up at the sides of the walls, they come rushing at Amelia, and then she's broken out of the vision.
Yeah.
And that, my friends, is why you don't do LSD before passing out for the night.
Well, the best part was with all of that, I think she had to have a couple more things of coffee.
Yeah, so, and Gabe kind of asked her about it, but, didn't push it. She didn't really want to give up information. That's fine. So we picked up Amelia, picked up Abel and Olivia from Olivia's house. And Olivia had texted Gabe saying, hey, I got some items in my warehouses that seem like they're cursed stuff. To Gabe is like, yeah, we got to take care of that. So the four of them head on over to Olivia's warehouse. While that was going on, flash over to Frank.
Exactly. So this motherfucker starts off at Nix's bar. She's tied down with other projects, heard a little bit of information, and not enough because it seemed like his sire was ghosting her in a sense, not providing much or little information was leaking other than he's in Chicago. So Frank and a messy crit goes into Chicago, which, messy crits always lead to the best stories.
Not wrong.
Angry, monstery pride. I shake the streets, smell out some kindred as I'm passing through. One of them sprints off with celerity because he a baby back bitch, leaving his lesser, inferior friend around, which I heckled a little bit and was just like, where are you going? Why are you going? What do you know about this? If you want to walk out of this, la-da-da-da-da-da, just, I rolled a 1, so I was playing as best I could. But I got a little bit of information about, the Nosno things. So Frank decided to become a sewer rat for the night. Well, for a little while. Jumps into the sewers, gets a phone call in the perfect spot by one mage that I'm blanking on the name of. Yeah, that one. I just wanted to get you involved, Junie, that's all. Rachel reaches out, a little condescending towards Frank for blowing her off 2 months prior. And Frank, loose with the details, doesn't really give out much. Just like, oh, sorry, some things came up, da-da-da-da-da. Oh, I have nothing to do with Josh not being in Empower anymore. That's fine. Like a blatant fucking lie. They hacked his phone, downloaded all of his contacts, which... good luck, because everyone's not named the way that they should be named. Which, that's the way he's always operated, is descriptive terms. And it works in case things like this happen. So, digress, gets off the phone, hears Enough start speaking to him, is able to identify where she's at in the shadows. Named Clara, a throwback to season 1. Obviously part of the Stitch and Bitch, because there's this long Stitch and Bitchy thing that she had with her. Conversation was made, a pact or an accord was made for information about where Frank Sire is, or would be, hopefully. And a promise of a meeting the following Tuesday at his warehouse after a meeting at Nix's bar to provide her safe passage. At which point the scene cuts back to the remainder of the party that is scampering over to the warehouse that houses all the things dangerous and dark.
All of the not illegal, totally not black market quality stuff, totally not cursed. So we go there, and Amelia starts talking about lighting things on fire. Gabe's like, well, we probably shouldn't. So Olivia and I specifically told Abel and Amelia to stay outside and guard the car. Now, on the drive up, Gabe had also called, somebody had given him some information about somebody who might know more about the curses by the name of Lucienda. Gabe had called, and had sort of set up a meeting, and also learned that he wasn't talking to Lucienda, but Lucienda's voice, which sort of tipped party off that Lucienda was La Sombra.
Can't touch technology. Well, they can. They just can't talk over phones. It just comes into a lot of static.
Yeah. So Amelia made that clear by overhearing your entire conversation through what I'm imagining is probably a heightened senses hearing.
Yeah. So they set that up for later. Olivia and Gabe went into Olivia's warehouse. They were told where some of these items were by Amelia's lieutenants. Or not Amelia, sorry, Olivia's lieutenants. And got like very creepy vibes off this stuff, like shadow creature creepy vibes. So we're like, definitely don't touch anything in here. Olivia and Gabe sort of went back and forth about what to do with the items, about whether they should rent a truck and try to take them to the Chantry, about whether they should just ward against them. Ultimately, they just warded it because Olivia wasn't sure if she trusted Morgan. To which Gabe figures they can hash that out later.
Though,
and while that...
I just want to say, Olivia did trust at least Gabe to look at it. And
That's true.
Gabe not report it to Morgan.
Yes. That's very true.
Yes.
Assumedly. While that was going on, Amelia and Abel are outside.
Did you want to dive into that? Like, you were leading it up, like, meanwhile, outside with number 1 and number 2.
And they got a little distracted. Just a small bit. Because outside there happened to be a couple warehouses down, a very rowdy group of Brujas doing rowdy Bruja things.
They're having a real brouhaha.
So they're like, oh, let's go investigate. Oh, but we were supposed to watch the car. Oh, let's take the car.
At least
solves 100% of their problems.
At least they were following the letter of what they had to do.
That's true. They didn't
until they got out of the
ignore
car.
The instructions. Yeah, until they got out of the car. And as they were, figuring out what's going on, Amelia had Dawn Mask of what's not Mask of Shadows, it's Mask of
a Thousand Faces.
Yeah.
Yep. Allows somebody to blend into crowds as a nondescript face that looks like they belong in that location.
And found Frank.
Not willingly. In Frank's defense, he had Dawn up.
Found. Yeah, that's very true.
Found the unwilling Frank. No, that's not how that works either. I'll figure out the verbiage on that. We'll circle back around.
Wait a minute. No. They found a very, very transfixed and very purposely driven Frank.
Frank doing Frank things, and now he's run out of Frank things to do. So the next couple episodes are going to be very Frank light, I imagine. Regardless.
Well, that's only if you want to be Frank light. If you want to be Frank regular,
it turned out let's circle around to that. Well, you can discuss that after we get through the review.
Yeah.
But yeah, so Amelia happened upon Frank and just started poking him through a crit 8 daunt, which was enough to make, Abel just be like, nope. I'm not getting any closer. Just stops in his steps. Amelia just walks up, starts poking Frank. Frank just looks at this, nondescript, Bruja looking short broad that's probably smiling maniacally while poking him. By like, hey, Frank.
You're not wrong.
Which tips Frank off that it's probably somebody he actually knows. And, being a true Bruja and having an intelligence of 4 is able to ascertain that it's probably a Malkavian. So he takes a gamble and assumes that it's probably the only Malkavian that decides to fucking poke him.
Artemis would not be about that thug life. He'd be like, bitch, please, I'm out.
Yeah, exactly. Like, the only Malkavian that scares Frank, I guess there's only 2 of them. It'd be William and Artemis. At this point, he's so naturalized to Amelia, like, oh yeah, she'll stab me, but she won't kill me.
I love it. I love it how people are afraid of Artemis. They're like, we can't do anything yet. Why? Artemis will, give me a good reason.
Bitch is batshit crazy. That's why.
She's not batshit crazy. She's just,
We'll circle back to that, too, because Gabe has a very different perspective on that scenario, but...
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't trust Malkavians easily. Let's go with that.
It's fair.
I don't know why.
So, yes, they find you.
Yeah, they track me down. They poke me. I sign up...
Yeah, how did that happen? You signed up for it?
Yeah, so I went up to... there was a Bruja that was running the show there that had a sign-up sheet, and just based off my daunt, I was able to get in 3rd in queue. And in a fit of pride, writes down the name of Charles Hanratty, the name of his sire. What Frank doesn't know is that motherfucker decides to use his name. But fortunately, I faked my own death with that, so thanks, Daddy. Not you, Daddy. The other Daddy.
Yeah.
But, sign up. At which point, I grab Amelia by her nappy-ass weave, drag her back to the outskirts, go to drop her off at the outskirts, but she's like, nope, I'm coming with. Frank drops daunt because, at this point, it doesn't matter. He's done what he needs to do. Gabe sees him, and, well...
So Gabe had followed a trail to find Amelia and realized Amelia was in disguise trying to hold back Frank. And Gabe's like, she's got to be, holding him back for a good reason. So Gabe's like, let's do some binding. Just a little binding. Because Gabe's kinky like that. Just a little binding every now and then. Doesn't hurt anybody.
William doesn't complain.
Yeah.
William does complain.
He likes it. It's all right.
It's a matter of opinion, definition, and perception. And he's the dominant in the relationship.
So he thinks...
I mean, he has the title, so he likes to be dominant. That's his mentality.
If that's what he thinks, then that's what he thinks.
Well, it's bad enough that you can walk through
But we're not
mirrors.
talking about William. We're talking about
Not yet.
about Frank. And Frank was not happy about being bound, and Gabe could clearly see, he's very angry. I wonder what's got him so pissed. And instead of, asking like a normal person, he decided to scry the soul. Saul, yeah, he was pissed. He's just a radiating ball of fury.
Like a
and
cat
also
that can't land on its feet.
And with the crit, also kind of learned that, it was in relation to who's finding his sire and dealing with his sire, at which point Gabe was like, alright, that's your business, and dropped the binding. Abel, this whole time, was like, there's fighting? I would like to fight. I would very much like to fight, because Abel had sort of lost a little bit of control over his beast. His beast is like, bloodshed, bloodshed, bloodshed.
I need to hit a bitch!
I leaned
Abel
into it, too.
also signs up to fight, and Abel, Amelia, and Frank all wind up going inside. Gabe had gone back to the car, because he was a little pouty, and decided to just scry just to make sure everybody was going okay.
Also, it's important to note that a certain Gangrel also tagged along.
Yes, Olivia went in with them. She was trying to stop Abel, I think, from fighting, but was also, group texting, what the hell is going on? To which Gabe was replying like, you know, his sassy normal comments of like, "Oh, Frank's just having daddy issues. Let him work it out. It's fine."
He'll walk it off.
And you know, kept being like, "Can we leave yet? Can we leave yet? I don't want to be here. Can we please leave?" But everybody had been sort of locked inside once things kind of got started.
It's also very important to note that, like a motherfucker, Abel did not leave the keys.
No, he didn't.
So that's something that I believe half the party will have a stern talking to with him about it. Yes.
I mean, worst case scenario, I'm sure Gabe could have figured out how to hotwire a car, but you know.
Oh yeah, just blood magic that puppy. Assert your dominance. Chains of binding it down the road. Just use the chains to pull it.
Oh my god. That's not how that works.
Gabe
Nice
also
try,
is
though.
aware that
Fine.
there's something called Uber, so it's fine.
Oh shit, Dr. Uber.
Yeah. So there was a couple fights, and then what was it? Was it Abel was called in first?
I got tagged in first. So
You got tagged in first, yeah.
what happened was is that I was looking around for my sire, and I was like, all right, Amelia, quit being useless. If you want to help track him down, she points him out during my fight and locates him. And it was 3 rounds of, well, the first round, there went his left arm. The second round, there went his right. The third round, I beat him with his own arms.
Actually, it wasn't even a round. You hadn't even made it around. The guy went and turned around and tried to punch. You popped Colosso's gift. It was not even. It was round 0 when you found.
Oh fuck!
When literally time sped up, people saw you beating him up with his own arms.
Well, I had imagined it being a little bit slower than that, but apparently I'm a god.
Colosso's gift is a very powerful.
Yeah.
You do realize that you did pop that in a room full of Bruja
Yeah.
that do not
And they
have
loved it.
that gift.
And they loved it.
Oh, they did.
To which I yell, "Were you not entertained?" And, played to the crowd a little bit and ragey pride because, I'm still trying to act like a Bruja. Even if they don't understand it, they might think, oh, it's a really high level celerity. Like, that's kind of what I was playing at, is celerity and temporis go hand in hand. The only difference is that one comes from internal time, one comes from external time.
This is truth.
So, I mean, both sides of the same coin. So, easy to imitate to an extent.
Absolutely.
But, yeah, so I beat him with his own pimp. And subsequently, a few rounds later, actually the very next round, Frank's name got called. And Frank's like, fuck, I know what's about to happen. So he tries to play, I was fighting as a proxy for my sire. I need to get in on my fight. And the guy that's running just like, no. And seeing as Frank's an outsider, he yields and quickly looks around to intercept Abel before bad things happen to mediocre vampires. Fortunately, Victoria also runs into him, and same with Olivia. And there's the brief conversation of good luck. And, oh yeah, can somebody reach out to Gabe to have him
help?
Is he in here? Like, fortunately, Gabe, being the creepy stalker daddy that everybody needs, is already on it. He's watching and just like, oh.
He's scrying, watching this like, can I? Interesting. Let's try it.
So if nothing else, this coterie has given Gabe the option of, I wonder what happens when I combine different powers.
Yeah.
Different spells. Oh, shit.
Yeah.
That was a miracle.
Yeah, it really was. So once Abel gets in the ring with Frank Sire, Gabe, while scrying and seeing Frank Sire, cast invisible chains of binding on it, which, through the graciousness of our storyteller and some very high rolls, was able to work, which made Abel stay alive.
3 letters for you. Rules as written.
Now, it was within the rules as written. It was. I mean, it worked. It was great.
Yeah,
Abel didn't have to die. It was wonderful.
Yeah, like I didn't want him to have to roll a new character yet.
So, and then, following that, him being bound, Abel was just basically able to pummel the shit out of him, and eventually ripped his heart out and then ate it.
That
Because
leads
why
to a
not?
question. Was that inspired by that one movie with Schwarzenegger? I'm blanking on what it was called, but wasn't there a scene where, like, there's a bunch of cultists and stuff, and he just rips out the heart, and he's like, "Ungasha" or whatever. It was the
It's
Conan
Indiana
series.
Jones and the
No, it was
Temple of Doom.
No, I'm thinking Conan. Wasn't there
Considering
a
that I am
sacrificial
not
heart pool
said,
on
I
Conan?
cannot speak for that.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, it was.
Uh,
So, I mean, it happened in Indiana Jones, and I think it was part of the Conan series as well. It was a sacrificial heart stab out or pull out or something.
It's give me a second. Conan.
Yeah, it was the Conan Heart Rippers. But that's what that was.
I know in Indiana Jones it's the Kaleman and rip the heart out.
Yeah. That's what I was thinking. Yeah.
Yeah.
Kaleva.
Yeah, it's
And,
Indiana Jones. Yeah.
Oh shit, my bad. Okay, I don't
it's
know why
okay.
I was thinking Conan. Maybe they had something similar in it with sacrificial heart stuff.
Yeah.
So anyway, rip the hearts out, eats it,
Yeah, gains
great.
power from it.
has a
Like
grand old time.
motherfucker. So yeah, that's something we found out after the fact, is that apparently eating the heart of a vampire for Kadif, if he spent 6 experience, he could pick up a discipline from that said heart.
There you go.
Fortunately, he did not get temporis.
Would have been nice. So then after that, Gabe stops crying because he was like, "Yeah, I've seen enough." The rest of the groups had to stay in there as there is now a battle royale.
That leads to a question real quick. While Gabe was laying on the top of the car looking at the stars, what was going through his mind?
We'll get to that. That's an after story, or no? We'll get to that after we finish telling what happened.
Oh,
Conan
okay.
the Destroyer, I think you were trying to remember.
Okay, that would have been it then.
Yeah.
Because I remembered something to do with the heart rip out and that as well. But I thought it was Schwarzenegger, so...
But I was thinking Indiana Jones.
Yeah, I mean, they both have similar content, similar era, same era, so...
You are correct.
So the rest of the party ends up... Well, half the party ends up in a battle royale. And by half, I mean Abel and Frank. And Frank's just like, oh, fuck, he's going to be a liability. I'm going to have to protect him. So the rounds go through, and Clotho's gift is popped twice. Frank, in the end, protects Abel enough to keep Abel to the finals with Frank and himself in the battle royale. Frank's tapped out. Like, hunger for, somebody's going to die. So, fortunately, he uses, well, it wasn't Clotho's gift, it was, uses some timey-wimey bullshit.
You used Leaden Moment.
Yeah, it led momentum to keep him from moving fast, and probably just beat the shit out of him to just,
Just incapacitate.
Yeah, just incapacitate. Like, and I was walking that line of, I could have ate him alive, and I rolled a 3 on willpower, which was just enough to not eat him alive.
Yeah.
So I had that going for me. And, at the end, after I beat the shit out of him, you do the Bruja! Yell and, clan pride.
Yeah.
Clan.
Yeah. I mean, you have to imitate it. And fortunately, we did. A lot of people were ashed in the making of that Battle Royale. And, yeah.
So after that, they allowed everybody to leave because everything was over. You guys grabbed an unconscious Abel, dragged him back
Olivia's
to
just
the
like,
car.
can you leave now?
Yeah.
And Frank does a roll, and he's like, yes.
Yeah, because Olivia's like, let's leave now. Because the whole time she's like, I want to go.
Out of her element.
Once you go into that fighting house, you're in that fighting house until the doors are open.
So
which
the
is fair.
unfortunate thing is, hey Junie, after this, I want to touch on the ramifications of that with Frank being top dog now in that house, because I don't see that going well for him in the future.
Well, I have
I'm
to
sure
find
Glenn's
out what
gonna find
happens.
out.
Oh,
Yeah.
100%. Because when they say that Frank was killed, there's gonna be some questions.
Yeah. Nah. Yeah, I imagine Frank does respect her enough to be like, "Hey, had a fight, signed up under my sire's name," because he does respect Gwen, given the fact that she did give him true brew hotness. So
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
well,
And
he
it is
didn't
her-
text her by the end of the session, so
that would be his project over the week.
Let's say that better be a goal, buddy.
if I get,
Yeah,
if
no,
I,
that was actually something I thought about yesterday night. Is that over the week he would probably reach out to Gwen and be like, "Hey, everything's fine. Faked my own death."
That's
if
fair.
if I get some goals,
I will send
Yeah.
you goals.
I need to send you mine too.
But
So-
that would be
after that,
delightful.
after that,
Gabe drove Olivia, Amelia, and Abel back to the warehouse.
Yep.
Because Olivia
Yep.
had wanted to go to Nix's bar. Gabe was just like, this is a one-stop shop. Just dropping y'all off. And then Gabe went to go meet his new La Sombra fan.
Frank made a brief stop at the Scarlet Drop to top off so he wouldn't eat people.
Yeah.
Which
and
is much
saw-
appreciated.
Yeah.
and saw Gabe's car while
Yeah, saw
driving
the
back to
SUV.
Juliet.
Does that
Flipped
power
a
slide
UE.
squeal? Yeah.
Yeah. To which
that
Gabe's
bikers
like,
do.
oh, fuck this guy. All right. So he pulls over. They have a quick conversation, and Frank offers to go with Gabe. And Gabe's like, sure, why not?
Yeah. That's
So-
all I could do.
So we go, and we go back to, it was,
It was down through Chicago proper.
yeah.
We went up into the old hoity-toity part of town that's kind of run down. And there was, if I recall, a older mansion that we had
Yes.
approached via SUV and bike.
Yes. So we go in there, and we have a conversation with Lucienda, who explains, that she is a descendant of Sybil, her grandchild, right?
3 times down, I
Three
believe.
times down? Yeah.
Or 2 times down? 3
Great
times.
grandchildren?
It was 3 times
Something
down,
like that.
based on
Who's a
generation.
grandchild?
Yeah.
Yeah. And that basically there are all these items, there is 2 parts of Sybil. We obviously have one part at the Tremere Chantry. The other part is a possible location of a cemetery. Or of a less grander manner, and I have Waukegan, but I don't think that's correct.
It's Waukegan.
Waukegan, okay. By a lake, which, in reference to a previous session when Gabe had scribed upon, or tried to scribe upon Olivia's father, he remembers there being a location at a house near a lake. So that actually triggers with Gabe. And, pretty much says, like, check out these locations. These items need to basically get put back where they're from to stop the curse and reburied. And she also goes on to explain about how it was she used the original Tremere, the pre-death Tremere, who were the ones that enacted this ritual in the first
Icarus.
place.
No, yeah.
The Order of Hermes.
Hermes.
Yeah. So we learned quite a bit.
Yeah, a good end of session knowledge dump.
Yeah.
Unrelated, when you said put those things back, that reminded me of Monsters Inc. Put that
I
thing
thought the
back
same
where
thing
you-
when it
oh,
came
so
from,
help
was that
me.
help
So
me.
help me. Yeah. Sorry. Brief.
Yeah. So I think we ended the night with
There was a
Frank-
little bit more there.
Was there
because,
more?
A little bit. Frank had posed the question of, could children of Sybil see those that were touched by shadows?
Yes, and she sort of shorthand answered that the answer was correct. That yes, she could.
So, and made mention that, oh, well, you have a block right now. You can't hear her.
Yeah.
Which, Frank made note of because Frank, an intellectual, doesn't understand magic, but he understands that, hey, someone's looking out for him.
I don't know if you saw my facial expression, but Gabe had given you like a what the fuck look during that time because Gabe wasn't aware that you had issues at one point hearing voices of Sybil. Gabe knew about Amelia.
He hadn't, is the thing. He brought it up because of Amelia. He was thinking further down the line, maybe dragging her ass this way. and
But
gagging her
player
so-
knowledge you have.
Yeah, player knowledge. Yeah, obviously, but I had forgotten
Yeah.
because of everything.
Right.
I'd
Right.
assumed, but if I couldn't hear it, then
See, Gabe assumes you had.
yeah,
So, yeah.
that was a minor point of contention, at least with Frank, is that, okay, well, maybe drag her back and see what can be done about that situation.
Yeah,
Because the last thing we need is Malkavian being driven crazy by the shadows.
you're not wrong. So I think that was it. I think you and I were on our way back to Joliet.
The scene panned out. We ended with William. And Junie, you want to paint the picture
Yeah.
of that?
Oh, well, William was in his office, and from what he got a phone call. Phone call was from a mage he's never met before and does not know of. And that they need to find an accord or a contract for the peaceful continuation of their alliance with each other.
And I know what William's goals for the week are now. Fuck. He's going to be tied up with mages from dusk till dawn.
That's turned out
Well-
that was an interesting movie.
It was a good movie.
Yeah.
Being Baron, though, that's kind of his responsibility.
And he takes it. He's been doing really well with it. Nobody important's died.
Nobody important's died so far.
Yet.
It still is like first month. It's fine.
Sure. There's no problem. No worries at all.
That also leads to the, I guess, the end of the review portion of what we have done. So, what was on Gabe's mind when he was looking at the stars?
So,
Lately.
a little bit of insight, and I know I've said this before. When Gabe gets low willpower and high hunger, he gets very sassy and everything. Gabe was like basically trying to internalize his rage.
Grounding
Yes.
himself.
So yeah, it was less about like he was thinking about things and more about like, I will not kill the coterie. I will not kill the coterie. Like more like that.
Oh God, that's a mantra now.
So yeah, that was what was on Gabe's mind. So
Okay. Not
Yeah.
as extra effective as I thought it was being, or extrospective rather.
no, the only other, I mean, so from a Gabe standpoint, he's got like zero issue with Frank dealing with his sire. As far as Gabe's concerned, that's none of his business. Like
Yeah.
he really doesn't care. It was more like, and yet the whole coterie got dragged into this, and yet
Not by
somebody
his choice.
could have died, and yet, you know what I mean? So for Gabe, it's like, we could have had such a nice day. It started off so good. I was in such a good mood, and then here we are. Once again, here we are in a fucked up situation.
But
And,
a fucked
you know-
up situation you survived and actually worked together with.
Well, that's
in
true.
In a very, I will say this: you guys worked very quickly. You did a lot of think tanking in a short amount of time and came up with a solution that actually benefited Abel in his work.
Yeah.
Oh, it's because Frank has an IQ of 4. Well, not an IQ of 4, but an intellect.
Well, no, I understand that, but I mean, it's
You
also
expect
the
those things.
players, the way that you guys thought as quickly as you did.
Yeah, there was a lot of team thinking. I mean, there's an argument to be made about like metagaming, but like, there was some team ideas sort of passed around, sort of a quick time span, just
That's
to sort
true.
of solve that problem, which I'm sure was kind of a relief for Junie, to try to make sure like, oh well, I guess I don't really want to kill this player, but here we go.
It
So-
depends on your rolls. Like you rolled an 8, I
Yeah.
think it was 8 crit or 9 crit.
7 crit and 8 crit.
Yeah. So I mean, between really, Gabe saved the day on that one. Frank was only going to be able to slow him down, so Abel might stand a chance. You made.
I mean, but Gabe would have not have even tried had it not been for Amelia and Olivia and Frank talking about it, because Gabe had always just assumed that wasn't something you could do. He'd never tried to do it before.
it never
so-
mattered before now.
It never mattered before. Yeah, exactly.
But
so
at the
now
same
that it
time,
was,
I don't think it's ever been posed before.
yeah. There was never a situation that was brought up to Gabe like, hey, can you scry and do this at the same time? Gabe was like, oh, that sounds great. Let me try it. Like Gabe had just never thought about it. So
So really, that's gonna make Gabe the mastermind from now on, where he's just sitting in the shadows with a little puddle, just looking down, like, "All right, I'm
I
gonna
don't
make this
have
person
to do
bleed."
anything. I don't need to go in there to get my hands dirty.
Exactly. I just have to
yeah.
scry somebody, find them in their own home, and make
Nah.
them bleed to death.
No, I thought that for the moment it was like I said pre-stream, I thought it was definitely following like the rule of cool, like I appreciated it as a player. So it was neat.
Rule of cool and rules is written. I mean, it's rare when
I mean,
they
technically,
coincide.
theoretically,
I like it how
theoretically.
you guys argued it and the way that you guys
Yeah.
presented it, and you went with how it was written, as opposed to how you could have said something. It was I enjoyed it. I enjoyed actually you guys
Yeah.
looking into how things were written about it.
Yeah, no, definitely.
That's the stuff.
And so I wanted to go back to you had made a mention that how Frank views Amelia, Artemis, and William.
So yes, at this point, he's been normalized to Amelia and Charlotte, based on the fact that he knows that they will stab him, but they will not kill him. To Frank, like, William seems like a power-hungry dictator, in a sense, but he doesn't have a good read on it because he doesn't spend a lot of time with him. He's not like Gabe that's showed up day one saying, "I offer my services," and getting that position. Like, he was more reluctant to it because he's still in that mindset of fuck the police.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, not in the literal sense of like that, but and the fuck the patriarchy, I think, is the more like, even among anarchs, and him as this is a new Baron. Like, he had no qualms about Josh. What pissed him off about Josh was that Josh betrayed the anarchs.
Right.
So for him, having a crazy as effectively this area's boss kind of gets under his skin a little bit, and leads to a great distrust in how he interacts with William. Like, he's just like, I'm not sure if I'm actually talking to William or if I'm talking to just a crazy.
Yeah.
As in regards to Artemis, like, yeah, he saw her bleed, but he also knows that Amelia would kill for her. Like, that's one person that he doesn't want to be around. Like, she's just so wild child, in a sense, like, flower girl wild child, that he doesn't want to be around that type of positive negativity.
Yeah, that's fair. See,
like,
and
when you
Gabe
put two
have
magnets together that are on the opposite sides and they repel the fuck out of each other, that's Frank and most Malkavians.
See, Gabe has a completely different viewpoint. To Gabe, the three of them independently are not threats. Independently.
Put them together.
Put them together in the same room, and the combination is dangerous. But like with William, Gabe's like, should you really be Baron? Are you sure you can handle that? Like I'm not saying I don't think you can. I'm just saying that I think maybe it's more than you get off more than you can chew. And then with Amelia, it's more like she almost cares too much.
Yeah,
like,
she still has like Humanity 7 is what it feels like sometimes.
Artemis is like the wild card for Gabe, but Gabe's also like, yeah, but she's a nice wild card. Like, I think even if I pissed her off, I could talk her. I think I could still talk her into having tea if I did something she didn't like. You know what I mean? Like, but you put the three of them together, and that's when the situation gets to an unknown that Gabe's not comfortable with.
Yeah,
so
because you have the bard, the archer, as well as the fighter in the front lines.
Yeah, so as far as Gabe's concerned, the fact that they almost try to separate themselves is golden. He's fine with that because you put them together, and he's afraid of the explosive combination they can make.
I mean, that's reasonable though, because I mean, they each, like, the three of them all have their own individual strengths, but you put them all together, and like I said, like Artemis, she's definitely a ranged fighter. She can fuck around with people's minds a little bit.
Yeah.
You look at Amelia, she's close up, like, agile little spit fuck. And then you got William, the talker, and he's just like, I control the way you move.
Yeah. And I think the other part of it is I mean, because they're sibling status, like, the bonds there are so deep. So it's like,
100+ years.
You don't want to, even though independently in Gabe's mind they're not bad, you don't really want to screw with one because you don't want to deal with the other two.
Yeah, there's
Like-
repercussions, and
Yeah.
those lines run deep.
I think with me doing Artemis, William and Amelia have still that sibling connection. Artemis feels like she's the one who's been separated for so long, is trying to rekindle and reconnect.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
the thing is that she doesn't know who these people are anymore. But she's trying. But she's not trying to, steal their thunder.
It's gonna suck in the last episode when William makes her forget that he and Amelia are around.
Yeah.
I'm not looking
Yeah.
forward to that.
Yeah.
Can't say I am either. But we'll burn that bridge when we
Yeah.
cross it.
Oh,
Yeah.
he will so have to burn that bridge.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, for continuity purposes, unless we're doing AU, like
Well,
I know what William has to do, and it's gonna break his little heart a little bit. Like,
Yeah.
I think he might actually lose one stain of humanity because she is one of his.
touchstones.
Yeah,
Well,
and
I will say, when did Olivia turn into mom of the group? Did that
when
happen
she
last
be-
session?
when she bought a house and she
Yeah.
could afford to maintain
think-
people.
I think when Olivia turned into mom was when she actually took the assertiveness and said, liquefy all of Dad's assets, liquefy all of Brother's assets, give me the money, I'm going to start taking over and doing shit.
Yeah.
And I think that in that moment of finding out how much money she had, finding out that the biggest turning point was her correspondence with William. She had written.
Was it really?
Yeah, she wrote him a letter, and then he wrote her back, and that's when she said, "Okay," and she told me as the storyteller, "Okay, I need to do this, 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 and this. We need to do it now. I need to secure stuff. I need a holding. I need this. I need to put here in it." And that's where she started.
William
to do this.
inspired something?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yes.
William inspires a lot of things. They're just not all good.
Yeah. I think that's
God.
when she was like, yeah, I think I really have to step up to the plate, take these two women out of William's hands, and be like, look, I need to find out all about my family history. I need to find all of this stuff. I need to get to work, and I can't sit around anymore. And
Can I read his letter back to her real quick? Do you
Yeah.
want to hear it?
Yeah.
Okay. So she had originally sent me a message saying, Baron, I'm not sure if you're aware of me or not. My name is Olivia Vonage. I'm the new gangrel in your Reaper's President Coterie. I appreciate the willingness to protect my human relations, though I doubt you knew they were my relations, and the fact that you have not eaten my cat. As a token of my appreciation, I'd like to offer the services of my menagerie. They make it for excellent informants if you know how to listen. On a related note, the cat is not to leave the humans except to find me, so she should not be anywhere she would overhear you unless you are more interested in speaking with humans than your Reaper has led me to believe. I'm also willing to pass on information I've gleaned from my human contacts, though not in the form of note left with Tony. I'll pass that through your Reaper. I'd also like to know when or where I should hunt. Previously, as under orders to do no such thing. I imagine you and the Reaper are the ones to tell me otherwise. My coterie has earned my trust, and I intend to remain with the Anarchs. If there's any way to make myself of use, I'm at your service. By the way, the coffee is amazing. Yeah, that's right. Suck his dick a little bit. Yeah. Anyways, I digress. His response, Miss V, let me open by first saying I appreciate your old ways to communicate. Many neophytes have often too tied to the toys of their youth. By casting off that shroud, I'm impressed by your growth since your introduction to my sister and her group. I would say in the future to better hide your words, to trust only in person, verbal conversations, and ensure you burn effects relating to such subjects after reading. My dear sister has made some mention of you, and mostly kind words. While I'm looking over the ladies for the moment, I trust she is working on finding a more permanent establishment they and your Osler may reside. Do not make this a reoccurring item. That said, I am grateful for your offer and wish to meet with you soon regarding a position, low as it may be, that you may have resources that can benefit as a junior member. For the time being, the previous ground areas established by Blackjack are still to be used. Should they shift in the coming years, all elements will be made aware with ample time to adjust. May the night guide you. WDBOJ. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. I mean, he doesn't use words like coterie or anything like that in written form, and he always advises burn after reading. Like he takes that level of I'm gonna be safe with what I do.
Yeah. So I'd be curious to see how the dynamic in the group shifts. Because obviously there's been a little bit of a shift from Amelia as sort of this head.
Yeah. To now a different head.
To now almost a different head. It's not really so much a power struggle. It just seems like that's just how things shifted.
Mommy, daddy, stepmommy.
Yeah. So I mean, 2 mommies is fine. That's fine.
Double the mommy for half the fun.
Yeah. Well, there you go. But I'd be curious about to see how that goes forward. Yeah.
Yeah, it'll be interesting for sure. I feel like there was another item that I want to touch base on. Junie, what regards to the Fight Club? How bad is that going to come back to haunt me? On a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being bend over and take it, you dirty girl, and 1 being oh, you'll walk it off. You're a professional.
Like a 14, maybe.
Fuck.
Hold on. I'm rolling a die.
Oh, I hate when you do that.
Like a 14.
Is it a D10?
Actually, it is.
Okay. Did I just roll a 10? It is actually a 10. Oh, fuck my life. Oh, fuck my life.
No, that's a 0.
Yeah, that's
Nothing bad.
That's a 10.
You see that? That's a critical fail.
I was gonna say, isn't that a critical success?
Yeah,
Success, right?
So that's a 1, right? We're going backwards with.
That's a nat 10, sir.
All right. So what's the damage?
Well, I'll pull out a percentage tile.
Oh God, 1d10 improvised damage incoming.
You're not wrong.
Oh boy.
Oh, unsubscribe.
I mean, I hate to say you did it to yourself, but
I can't see that.
oh no.
80.
Is that 100? 80.
80.
Oh, okay. So I made waves. People know my name. I am the destroyer. Not only do I kill A-bombs, now I kill Kindred. Great.
You are now.
Oh God.
Oh yeah.
Frank.
You are.
Edward
you are
Frank the Slayer Watch.
You're, the thing is that you are
Infamous or famous?
Yes.
I mean, I'm actually curious.
Yes.
Is it famous or infamous?
infamous.
Fuck.
Here's the problem. Frank's dead.
Yeah, I'll reach out to Gwen. That was going to be a goal anyways.
No, it's Charles Hraddy.
Hanratty.
Hanratty.
Yeah.
That is
Yeah, he's
known.
dead.
No.
Oh.
Everyone believes that Frank is dead because it was Frank. It was Charles
That
that
got
was
axed.
going underneath Frank's name.
That's fine. So Charles Hanratty's going to go poof and Frank's going to live on. Nobody will figure that out.
Sure.
You assume stupidity.
I assume that Bruja have an IQ of 1. I assume that true Bruja have an IQ of 4.
Now, just because they are
Knuckle draggers.
By the way,
predisposed
Nick
to
made
it.
this for me, so
Oh, it's cute.
It's adorbs.
Doesn't mean that all Brujas are the same.
Yeah, you're right. There might be an intelligence of 2 out there.
ooh.
I think you assume.
I think next season somebody needs to roll a Bruja.
I'll roll a Bruja next season and be a knuckle dragger. I'll love it.
Uh huh.
Yeah.
This will be
We'll see how that
entertaining to
goes.
say.
He'll be dead in the first 4 episodes.
Also, with everything that's been going on, my question to the two of you: how is everyone figuring out or dealing with the fact that it was only one abomination they killed, not the abomination?
Just waiting for the other shoe to drop.
I'm waiting to find out if Abel decides to drop that Hera contact. Because he knows about the werewolves.
Yeah. It's nice to know some Scrooby-Grooby-Doo. I don't know. How about you, Gabe?
I think The problem with Gabe is that he's always a little too distracted to care. Much like he was distracted about Frank Sire, he's a little distracted by, like in his mind, the only real bad thing that he needs to focus on is this curse. Everything else takes second precedence.
That's
So,
So you're
Like-
a true Tremere in those regards, then. That you fixate on one item until it's resolved and then move on to the next.
yeah, so Gabe,
like
you know,
puzzles.
Gabe knows that like there's other shit going on that he probably should put more time and effort into. He's just one track minded. So for Gabe, like, yes, it sucks that there's another problem out there that we have to deal with, but that's a problem for later, Gabe.
Future Gabe's problem.
Yeah,
That's her.
more or less. So
Well, that's fair. That's fair.
now, granted, if the rest of the coterie is like, no, we need to deal with this now, Gabe will be like, well, I guess I'll put my science toys away and come help you idiots. But fine. You know what I mean? Like,
Let me drop what I'm doing and help you with your problem.
yeah,
Not
basically.
wrong.
Basically, so,
Oh,
yeah,
fun.
yeah.
Well,
No.
and we're coming up on the a little over the hour mark. Do we want to do some closing comments, or do we want to dive in a little bit more? Do y'all have a preference?
I mean, I got places to be.
You ain't.
Keep
You-
talking. I ain't. We can keep
Oh,
talking.
okay.
That's fine, yeah.
Fucking mint then. So obviously we're discussing our
Wow, somebody got a
Watching
goal.
football.
Yay, good job.
I'm not
Go
sure if you heard her,
team!
but quote unquote, sack that motherfucker. I want to formally apologize. My wife gets very, very adamant about her football Americano. So let's go ahead and dive into what do we anticipate our characters doing next sesh?
Storytelling.
That's a cop out.
Being storytelling, and then for trying to be like 14 billion voices in my head at once.
It's hard to say what Gabe wants to do next session because I think there's options that I haven't quite figured out which avenue I want to take.
I gotcha. So
Um,
do you imagine that you'd follow up on La Sombra's, hey, go here or here?
Yeah, I think that's probably going to be first choice. I think I would probably drag the coterie with me, considering that at one point Gabe knows that Olivia's father was being held at a location it might not be the same,
Similar.
but similar aspects. Gabe would probably drag the coterie with for that.
Okay. So the forethought to be like, okay, this is similar enough that it warrants their attention.
Yeah.
I believe so. Outside of that, I mean,
That's
we'll
fair.
see. I don't know what Frank's gonna do now that
Oh, well,
his daddy's gone.
he's going to be finding a new reason to unlive.
Yeah.
Like, that's been driving him for the longest time, is that, abandoned, left
Yeah.
for dead in
Does-
Camarilla territory.
Does everybody but Gabe have sire problems this session?
I don't have any more.
Well, not anymore, obviously.
Yeah.
No, it wasn't bullshit, actually. I'd like to point out that there are several people that don't have to deal with the bullshit.
Well, that's football for you.
Oh, I know. I thought I'd play on that.
Yeah.
I know Abel doesn't really have sire issues, but more the fact that he wants to know his sire.
Right.
Gabe, I don't think gives a shit. Amelia doesn't really give a fuck either, and Olivia is starting to come to terms with the sire and actually getting to know them through email, which is actually pretty cool.
Gotcha. Okay.
I think Frank was the only one truly with sire issues. Even though William is NPC, how bad are his sire issues?
I mean, he wants to play Artemis into his sire and use her to kill him as a end game. You know this.
So
because
it's safe to say he's got a little bit of sire issues.
But
it's
here's
safe
my-
to say that he doesn't want to get his hands dirty with his sire's death because his sire is a Archon.
Here's the question. Why does William have those issues?
Because he turned Artemis. He got
There-
attached to human Artemis.
Well, okay, wait. I thought that there was more to that. I thought he...
I mean, it was between the human Artemis and being replaced by Artemis and cast into a fucking box with a stake in his heart for 30 years. There is resentment. There is rage.
That too.
Exactly. How does the dirt taste? Tastes like shit.
Okay.
Sorry.
I was just
I had
curious
to cough
because
that shit up for the longest time.
I was just curious because, like, you know, Gabe's kind of sitting there, and Gabe doesn't hate his sire. Gabe doesn't really have, like, he's got some issues with him, but not enough to, like, be like, oh, I'm gonna track this fucker down and kill him.
Yeah.
So
William
for
lacks
Gabe,
the power to do so.
yeah. So for Gabe, it's sort of like having Frank deal with his sire. It's like, well, I can't really tell him how to handle this situation because I don't have this situation with my sire. Like,
Yeah.
you know.
It's different for Tremere too. Like being turned into a thin blood, like it was a bane and a gift at the same time, but a lot more bane because Camarilla territory, a lot of them were unkind to him.
Yeah.
So there was always looking over his shoulder. So it was fortunate when he finally had the opportunity to become a true Brujah in that sense.
Yeah.
I think what ultimately, if I have to say with Artemis, I think that she doesn't love her sire. She resents him to a point where she just wants to let bygones be bygones. Say, hey, look, you play with your party over here. I'm going to be over here. But the problem is that he keeps pulling her and using her as one of his fingers as Archon. The only thing is that she can't lie about anything because of the conditions she's been put under. So for, knowing that William's around, knowing Amelia's around.
That's why it needs to get wiped.
And she's walking this fine line. That's why she's a great, don't get me wrong, she's a great tool to use in these chronicles because of how crazy and perky she is.
Because wild card.
Wild card. But the thing of it all is that, and I'm not trying to put her into every episode. That's why she was a Vision. She was part of
not direct.
Right. But it was kind of like she's used as that fact of, by the way, time is at times irrelevant, where you don't know where these bonds have been connected with. You don't know how you're connected into the network and how all these other Malkavians have been connected in as well, or to the depth of how connected they are. So when she saw this man with a star in his chest being pulled in, and he's saying he didn't want to
Very
be part
World War II, by the way.
Huh?
Very World War II when you said that, and then I realized you were referring to a deputy, so that could have been misconstrued by a Jew. Just saying.
Oh well, sorry, it's just being sorry. I meant
I'm just throwing that out there, devil's advocate. Like that came to my mind twice. That God.
Yeah, I know, but it was like it was that thing of James coming in and being pulled in and being sat down, told he's going to be part of this network. But then at the end, if you remember, all at the end of season 1, James embraced it and went, let's just go full Malk. And
I am the network.
Yeah.
So it was more that fact of how does time work? How does the network work with time? And how do we understand
backwards and forwards, to my knowledge?
How it's all encompassing. How do you figure all this out? And with Artemis being part of that, going, look, and I'm in a futuristic outfit. You're looking back like you're back in the Victorian era. Are we in sync? Is this the right time you're supposed to be in? Or am I in the wrong time?
So it almost sounds like Artemis needs Temporis, at least rank 1, so she knows what time it is.
Right. There's a thing. But I think with using Artemis as that kind of NPC that can plot point here and there, and drops a little bit of knowledge, she's only used as that kind of like a funny moment, or breaking that tension a little bit, or giving like the NPC William that tender moment of, remember, we might be kindred, but we're still human. We still have our connections.
Yeah.
So
yeah, close enough.
And I think that with her trying to get in with Amelia and the coterie, it's difficult because she doesn't understand.
And she's also not an Anarch, though. She's a Camarilla.
Right.
Which is, the biggest gap that she needs to bridge, but she won't, at least for the foreseeable future.
She won't.
Not as long as her children's part of the Camarilla.
And her children, her child has disappeared, so she's trying to grasp at any straw. to get that normalcy and that reality back.
Yeah, to be grounded.
Otherwise, she's just curled up in a ball in her bed, crying and, you know, going ravenously crazy because she cried all the blood out of her.
Yeah. And I think it's interesting, you know, as a player, you know, we played in the Cami last season, and now we're Anarch, and I find it kind of interesting because, you know, from Gabe's perspective, it's the same demon, just a different name, you know, and it's almost like, all right, which one am I gonna cater to? Which one am I gonna, you know,
poison are you gonna take?
Yeah, whose boots am I gonna be shining? You know, this it's basically how he sees it. So.
But you like Williams, so that's fine.
You know, but there's something to be said for that because Gabe didn't really like Josh.
Yeah.
So Gabe was willing to tolerate Josh. But Gabe sees something that
was different from Josh.
Not necessarily like somebody that he could manipulate with, but more of somebody that he could be a bit more himself with, as opposed to like
bootlicker.
Yeah,
a little less formal.
Think. So, but I think it's funny, like, you know, now that we're playing on the other side of the line, like, having to also keep that in mind, like, every time we go to Chicago, like, we're not in our territory. We have to, you know, keep in mind that every action that we take, you know, could have a severe consequence. So, you know, talking about, like, you know, Frank's situation with the warehouse, like, I'm not as concerned necessarily about Brujah consequences as I'm worried about Camarilla consequences. Yeah.
For the body count between Abel and myself, because Abel is a caitiff, but I mean, if I recall, the Capones are based out of Chicago, yes?
Capones are Camarilla.
Yeah, so there could be ramifications for them further down the line, which is also a concern that's, you know, on Frank's mind currently, that, okay, we've done some killing, although just in a, you know, private establishment. You don't take kindred life unless you must.
And the thing of it all is, being that you come into these fight clubs knowing there is a possibility you're going to die, the possibility is usually, you know, 10 to 15%. Not the holy slaughterhouse that had happened that night.
Well, I mean, for what it's worth, I didn't want to kill most of them.
Oh,
you just said that I killed most of them.
Well, I think of it this way. I don't think, knowing between Frank and Abel, I don't think either one of them would have let them keep, you know, they would have each other's backs to the point where they could not have each other's backs anymore, and then one had to fall.
Yeah.
To save face.
And you all, I mean, with both of you being in a little bit beast mode, I think that it's actually appropriate.
Yeah, I mean, I had a lot of messy crits yesterday. Like, that was the first session where it was just shit show after shit show after shit show.
I was like, I honestly was hoping you were not going to burn yourself out in Ash. And I'm just like, oh, fuck.
I came close. I was fucking terrified, Junie. Like, I knew I had to do it, otherwise I wasn't going to win.
But I like
that was the same mentality that Frank would have had, is that I have to do this. I'm going to push myself. I want to feel the sun.
Well, I think it was interesting because not only did two Anarchs turn around and blow through this entire Camarilla, you know, trash shop, but at the same time, it's a caitiff and a Brujah.
Yeah.
So how are the Camarilla Brujah first going to look at this? How are they then going to look to the Anarch Brujahs? And at the same time, now they have to think about caitiffs can whip our asses.
Well, yeah.
On the one hand, it forces them to up their game. On the other hand, it's like, man, what are they? How's this hammer gonna fall on us? You know?
Yeah.
Right.
Are they going to be?
What are they
drinking? Are they going to feel like they have to push back now because we basically went in there with a caitiff and a Brujah and like decimated them? Are they going to feel the need to like come at us hard? Like,
I mean, if you think about it, Brujah themselves are a clan that's inherently against, you know, traditional rule.
Right.
So that may work in the Anarch's favor and have more defect, just based off the fact that, oh shit, there's something in the water on the other side of Joliet.
Well, which still begs the question: are we then going to have to deal with the Brujah situation? You know, like
I think that there will be an influx of Brujah refugees more so than anything else, where they defect from the Camarilla just based off, oh shit, they have power, and
Well,
that
maybe.
could lead to a power shift
That's-
against the current prince.
I would say that's an optimistic line of thought, but
I mean,
It's a line.
I'm an idealist, and at least when I'm thinking is Frank. Like, I hope for the best, but I prepare for the worst. That's how he's always operated, even as a thin blood. Is
Yeah.
that I'm gonna have a couple different ways to get out of a situation, but I'm gonna have one way that I want it to go.
and I know that it's different, but my thought was like, if I was going to equate this as Gabe going to the Tremere Chantry in Chicago and just, you know, whipping out some blood sorcery on their asses, like that would not go over well. You know what I mean? So
Yeah,
if I'm using that as an equatable type of situation, which it's not
I think
entirely,
it's similar. I think it's similar in regards to the premise, but yeah, I think at least Junie, you can agree with me on this that it comes down to clan politics more so than anything else at that point, because Tremere are very, pardon my phrasing, but stick up the ass.
yeah,
Well-
but they're also Tremere first.
It's
Yeah,
always
exactly.
House and clan first, second. The
And
reason-
Brujah, it's more so power first. Yes, like
it's might before right, from what I understand. And the reason why, and I'll give you an example, the reason why Morgan allows Gabe in is because
It's Tremere first.
they are trail. It's always Tremere first, no matter what. Especially after
the fall.
2008, where the fall happened. That is the most. That was a crucial time for Tremere, and Tremere broke away from that. They lost the structure. They lost everything that they were. I play a Tremere on another server, but that loss, that sense of who they were, was everything for what, over 1,500 years?
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden it's gone.
Yeah,
And for everyone that's gone through it, I mean, they were all one point blood bonded to their council. They were blood bound at times to themselves, to their sires as well. So there was a lot of control and a lot of forceful thinking. Now, what happens when you cannot be you can be bound, but your blood can't bind any kindred. Period.
Yeah.
No siento. We're done. So the problem is that with all of that going on, how does the Tremere continue that group, that sense of family, at the same time show they are still strong and powerful,
unity.
bonding together
Sharing
no matter what?
knowledge.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, and it's
That's the
got to
only way
be,
to
and
prevail.
it has to be like an open, willing unity as opposed to a forced one, because
Yeah.
It was
Because that
forced.
causes dissension.
yes, because
and
that, I
lack of
mean, which is like the
sharing.
whole reason why Gabe, when the Tremere Chantry fell in Vienna, Gabe was like, opportunity, get me the fuck out of here, like,
Yeah,
you know, so it has to be a willingness, like,
Well, that's what happened, is because many broke away from that pyramid structure. And they said, "Peace out, bitches." But that's what hurt them ultimately in the end, is because even though they pieced out, they're realizing they still need that connection. Their
Yeah.
power is within their knowledge, their sharing of knowledge, and at the end, understanding of how we can rebuild what we have lost. If you guys remember the ending of season 1, Edward went into the Chantry, and you saw William, not Mystics William, but William,
his brother.
right, Ed's brother by Siring, was teaching and holding classes with several other heads of other chantries to get this knowledge in together to form more, a more web of communication.
right,
And because all of their ancient secrets have been lost, it's now trying to rebuild from that chantry had these paths and these rituals, share it with this chantry. This chantry had all of these, share it with that. And then, here's another chantry, let's find out what they have and let's share here. So that's why when Gabe went into, or was willing to go into that chantry and brought Frank in, it was such a pivotal moment. Was
Yeah.
because more knowledge.
yeah,
Especially when
But I
Knowledge.
think that is a major difference in how Brujah and Tremere think, though, is that, I mean, Tremere are very well grounded in the sharing of knowledge and those details. for Bruja, like the way I've always interpreted them is, like freedom fighter is the, desire for true freedom.
Now you have to remember, Bruja, and I'm going to go a little bit on a tangent here, and I apologize.
No, you're good.
That's
I
fine.
just want to have a better understanding for,
Bruja,
player and character
Bruja and
knowledge.
true Bruja, okay?
Yeah, two sides of the same coin.
Before the Diablerie, when they were really true Bruja, they had this already establishment of scholars, warrior poets, and being about knowledge, okay? When the Diablerie happened and the separation occurred, they still were on that same path up until, I want to say, 1800s to the 1900s, where they started to get the bruisers in. When they started getting the people, the gangsters and the mobsters. I say mobsters, then gangsters.
And if I may, that was because the separation on the Bruja side, they wanted to have numbers to handle true Bruja.
Well, that was being wiped out systematically.
Yeah.
They were wiping out true Bruja in the meantime. But the fall of, oh God, what was it? Somebody's gonna hurt me now for not remembering. I think it was Antioch, and the fall of their major city caused a dissidence within themselves. That was back in like thousands of years ago.
Yeah.
What really broke down the Bruja as warrior poets and scholars was bringing in these bruisers, the mobsters, the gangsters, and these less intelligent people, because all they knew how to do was fight. That's all they knew is how to hit and move and break skulls. They weren't great. They weren't embracing the activists, like if you guys have watched LA by Night, Annabelle. They didn't bring in these activists and these Newtwort scholars to replenish the knowledge that they had, and they lost quite a bit of it because they didn't share it. So they slowly came and trickled down into the high. We're just gonna come in and beat some heads in because that's all we know.
Right, they used to have that elegance.
There are very few, and I've played, I believe, 2 Bruja that were of the warrior poet area. Now, of course, people have tried to spark her short fuse, but her short fuse was, okay, if you want to beat me, if you want to bring this pain upon yourself, we'll do it. We'll debate it. I won't use my fist. I'll use my words. And then she'll frenzy over that spitting of knowledge, getting it in their face and going, here, boom, now deal with it, because I'm not going to fight you. Because I know you'll pull
2,000-year-old rapper.
Pretty much. And actually, Bruja do have open rap sessions where they will go in and have an open debate about things. And that was from Cassius. I'm not saying his name correctly because we all know how I can't say words.
Yeah. Roman Emperor. Got it.
Right. Tessie Mice.
No, I follow.
So he's actually the Bruja Primogen and the educator of Chicago. And he's still trying to educate Bruja in that sense. Not all take, but it is what it is.
So that leads me to this question, just for player knowledge, because the way I've always interpreted it is that the true Bruja, at least since the separation, there's been like 3 different sects. The sects that are more accepting of their, lesser Bruja, the ones that are playing the slow game, trying to, rebuild to topple said Bruja, and then the ones that want the outright eradication of the Bruja. Is that accurate?
You're also missing the ones where there are true Bruja that just want to be stuck inside their libraries, taking that slow game of just, you know what? I want to learn what I want to learn. Fuck you all. I'm done. I have my library. I will gain more knowledge. I will gain more information and such. But they don't want to deal with the whole rat race that's going on right now currently.
Yeah.
They just want peace out on that shit.
Yeah.
It's really interesting to listen and hear about this, because as a newer player to this module, like I've been trying to learn slowly little bit more about all the clans, but it's nice to hear about it.
For those that are watching, and if you guys have time, I know you guys are like super busy, but if you guys ever do get time, the Trove, I know it's all kind of scan shit, but it's a little secret. They do have the revised clan books there. The clan books are pivotal. Unfortunately, True Bruja do not have a clan book. You would actually have to read Dark Ages, and I believe we have that copy.
Yep, we do have a copy of it.
But the Dark Ages will really tell you more about the True Bruja. But if you do read the revised of the Bruja and Tremere as separate ones in their own clan books, it gives you a riveting story. It gives you that moving dialogue of, this is what we did think, now this is what we think. But mind you, this is all written pre-V5. So it's the old standing ways of looking at things. V5 has it changed, just a bit. But again, there's still that knowledge there.
Yeah, there's the same core history.
Right, and that I think is hardly important, because that will understand why the Tremere, yet being so pissed off that they were bonded for so long, and many pieced out, many are coming back to it because they realize that's all they knew. Oh, that's all they know. They can't gain any more power unless they turn around and share it.
And I would also say, like, you know, like, I know for Gabe, like, personally, you know, his thing is, I want to share the knowledge, because why wouldn't I?
Right.
Like, there's nothing to be gained from keeping this knowledge to myself.
And that's what many Tremere are trying to come back to, because they realize, I've left this establishment, I've moved on, but yet I can't gain any more power, I can't gain any more knowledge, because I am now stuck in my own resources. How do I turn around and handle this now?
It's an exchange. It's you know, it's an exchange of knowledge and information. Now, that being said, you know, Gabe's never going to let himself be put in that situation where he's controlled that way again. He would rather die than have that happen. But
the thing is that
there's history there.
Tremere can't bind. So therefore, he doesn't have to worry about that from other Tremere.
Well, not necessarily the binding, but just in general, which is why he had taken such an interest with William being Baron, and with the power change of the barony in Joliet, is because, all right, who's taking charge now?
Yeah, who am I calling daddy?
Right.
Or who's going to be calling me daddy?
I will say for the Bruja, and being that we're still on the subject a little bit, there are some Bruja. There are some Bruja that Frank would actually like to talk to. That he would actually like to say, hey, look at...
but they're far and few between. There are people like Nyx.
Nyx understands a bit. She can actually point her... Nyx, the way I wrote her, she's a mixture. She was a philosophy student that got bum rushed in 68 the Democratic thing in Chicago. So it was a quick, hi, you're dying, I'm saving you thing.
Yeah, little drive-by.
Right, but she wasn't really she was never a bruiser. She learned the bruiser lifestyle to save her ass and to save her life. But she uses the knowledge that she picked up in college to try and subsequently move on from that.
Yeah.
And if he was, and I'm not saying Frank would be, but if Frank was so inclined to actually learn more about that clan, he would then be able to then walk that path and understand where it truly started from. And that's where Gwen comes in.
Yeah.
Because
she would be the best resource, because she is the philosopher fighter. She's picked up the Bruja, but at her core, she is still true Bruja.
The funny thing is that she started off as a regular Bruja ghoul. She was put into the fighter pits. She was a gladiator. She fought her way to where she was. And the only reason why she ever got embraced was because she got a bullet to the heart. So for her, she was taught how to read, how to write by True Bruja. She was taught how to discern and understand, information and learn what was important because of her sire. So for her, she understands both sides of the coin. She can actually relate to the Tremere and has a good relationship with Morgan because they come together as intellectuals. She doesn't come in with like, "Give me my shit," or "I'm gonna, punch you in the face."
Yeah, I'm gonna throw your books around. Fuck you.
Right, because she respects the books.
Yeah, she respects the content.
And if she didn't, she wouldn't be there in the first place to have that kind of conversation with Morgan. She knows that she'll never get blood sorcery. But it's not the point. It's the point of having the knowledge that it exists. That's the key for her.
Understanding that there are things that are outside of her control that can happen.
And I think...
But timey-wimey bullshit, she could undo it. Like, let's be fair here. Like, if I could get that 6th point, I would be a god.
In theory, yeah, she would be. I look at it from the standpoint of Gabe and Frank, at their core, are almost similar in the aspects of knowledge and how to gain it, ascertain it, and use it.
Difference is applications. Frank
Correct.
is becoming more...
Yes and no. He is almost at that crossroads where he might have to decide. But the reason why I haven't brought it up yet is because I want to see when he gets to that fork in the road. Does he realize?
I know it's coming.
It's coming at some point. I can't tell you when, but it will. When he gets to that fork in the road, my question is does he only see this? Or will he see that there is a third path?
Yeah, I mean, and he'll probably try to emulate what he has seen between Gwen and also between Eric. Because Eric was very much the poet from where he came from in regards to how he handled things, but he learned how to emulate Brujah from him, at least to an extent. Still hasn't mastered it because, at the time he was a thin blood.
Right.
But, I mean, I think that he'll be relying more and more on Gwen to kind of bridge that gap because he wants to keep that mask on just to protect himself, but he needs that level of, intelligence to actually be able to maintain himself.
Right.
Because that's where he's always been he's always been entertained by the sciences. He's always been entertained by, the pushing the letter with what he could do. And that's unrelated. Probably one of the reasons why he keeps SARS around is just because that was a great fucking feat.
Not wrong.
Like, that's a little badge of pride. Like, I'd say he's a serial killer. That's his trophy.
I killed the SARS.
Still can't believe you have SARS in the kitchen.
Hey, don't
judge.
Not judging, just don't think it's wise.
Well, nobody else has found it, so...
Nobody else has found it yet.
That's fine. That's their problem when they find it.
That's
if
okay.
they find it.
Gabe is still in the warehouse at some point.
Yeah, he still has a key.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but that's, that'd be metagame for me to be like, Gabe just happens to find it in the kitchen.
Yeah, you said that Gabe doesn't bother eating.
No.
Frank put it up there.
Gabe has zero reason to go to the kitchen.
Exactly, and the reason Frank put it up there is because he was cooking for the ladies. And you got to think, he's smart enough to realize that if he's the only one doing this, that no one else would think, okay.
Gabe's also very predictable in his own way. Like, and after living with Gabe for this long, Frank would have probably noticed, like, okay, Gabe comes in, goes to his lab, goes to sleep.
Yeah, he's ritualistic. Like, everyone follows a beaten path unless there's an outline information. Like, Frank is very much the same way. If you notice, like, every session I start by, like, okay, am I hungry? If yes, go to fridge. If no, then check computer. If yes for food, then go to computer and check, have I had any alerts? If no, then I jump on my bike and I deal with whatever I want to deal with for the night.
Yeah.
Like, that is literally how Frank approaches it, and that's his ritualistic pattern, is that he does X, Y, Z. That's something you can always count on.
He's a flow chart.
Yeah. No, but it's like Junie was saying, though. Frank and Gabe are very similar at their core. It's just two different sides of the coin.
Yeah, like, different applications.
Yeah.
I enjoy seeing how they work with it. Where Frank was so hell bent into going in and going after Charles, Gabe's just like, I'm gonna scry. Okay, I'm bored. I'm gonna sit back in a car. This is it. I'm
tapped out from saving the day.
It's just more like there are some things that Gabe's like This is outside of
interested
my.
Right.
I don't want to say outside my sphere of caring, but it's outside my sphere of caring. Like,
Yeah.
It's just
I
like,
mean,
yeah,
it's
just
personal.
let me know when you're back. I'm just gonna.
is the rest of the
sneeze.
coterie safe from harm? Great. Okay, bye.
Yeah.
Toodles.
Ta-ta. Kisses,
Ta-ta for now.
XO.
Yeah, exactly. Like, I'm
Yeah.
surprised if you had the keys, you probably would have left us there. Like, let's be fair.
Oh yeah, no, 100%. I would have been like, I would have just sent a message, get an Uber, bye. Like,
I have to go.
and it's not
Daddy's
really
got a
from
date.
it's not really from like a spiteful place. It's just that, like, you know, he's almost got like a tank, like a reserve tank. Like, this is how much caring I can have today, and once that tank's gone, he's out. Like,
Yeah.
I only have so much spoons. Here's my spoons.
Yeah.
If you take them all, you are fucked.
That's
Good
something I think
luck.
you do better than I do in regards to how we portray our characters, is that when you actually run out of spoons, you run out of spoons. Like Frank, I feel like I have to pull more spoons to at least emulate it or to maintain that level.
No.
yeah, I think I've gotten good at it, and like I said, it's partially because I set Gabe up to be that way at certain circumstances. So like when I said, when he's low on willpower, when he's low, like, and high in hunger, like, he does turn into this very like
Brooding.
very
Yeah.
brooding but sort of like careless person. Like, but if you notice the beginning of the day, he was fine. He was happy. He wanted to
Oh,
make
yeah.
coffee for people, see how they were, like, check in, like, how are you? How's the
Yeah.
weather? Like, but you know, as the night
Ritualistic
goes
kindness.
on, yeah, it's so I think having that set up makes it easier to do that.
Yeah. It just slowly run out of fuck, and it's gone.
And then that's not to say that he can't continue to help after a certain point. It just means he's not going to be happy about it.
Yeah. It's not. I don't even think it'd be a matter of his happiness. It's a matter of how much he cares about it at that time. Like, does it need to get done? Fine.
Well, see, I like
Yeah.
it how it was like at the end. It's like, look, I'm not dropping everyone off where they need to be. I'm dumping
you
you
off
all
here.
here.
You get
Oh.
one stop.
Unrelated. Poor Abel. We left him in
I
a
know.
fucking.
I like me as a player. I did feel bad about that because
Same.
probably like Dr. Gabe should have probably checked in on him, but
Gabe
What?
ran out of fucks.
Well, I look at the
Fucks.
standpoint of he was knocked out. He wasn't in torpor.
yeah,
He wasn't in danger of ashing or anything like that. It was like, look, he just
and he
needs
also
to sleep
kind
it
of did
off.
it to himself. So
Well, that's what happens when you get to the end of the road with a Bruja, let alone
Yeah.
a true Bruja.
it's kind of the difference of like, oh, Abel was attacked, and oh, Abel walked into this fighting pit to fight people. You know what I mean? Like, it's
Well,
Well, when you have a bestial failure, you kind of just ride the wave.
Oh,
Yeah.
I've got to say, I'm not looking forward to Gabe having a bestial failure.
I'm not either.
That leads to the question.
I'm not.
Yeah, no.
That leads to the question.
Mm-mm.
For Gabe, would the best way to take him down be just, like cracking his neck?
If you can get close enough,
I don't think that's
Probably.
a problem.
probably with your temporis, maybe it just depends on if he's already
Yeah, if
gotten
you
enough
get-
on you.
Yeah, if you get a chains on me, then it would be over.
Yeah.
But if I can
Yeah.
Temporis and Clotho,
If you can
map
pull
hack
off
my
the
way.
gift before he changed, yeah.
Or, I mean, if I'm facing Gabe, I think the opening move there would be a recurring.
Gregory
I would, yeah, to make Gabe, just see Frank and be like, okay, I'm seeing something. Okay, I'm seeing something. Okay, I'm seeing something, and not having that action, and then just
That-
walking up and then just
Yeah.
knocking him the
That
fuck
might
out.
be best case scenario, because honestly, the truth of the matter is, though, with how I play Gabe and how he is, like, personality wise,
Mhm.
you may not even know.
Yeah, I mean, Gabe definitely comes across more so as a tactician rather than
Yeah.
a grunt, and which
Yeah.
is something Frank emulates better because he pretends to be a Bruja. Is that he, I have to act like a knuckle dragger.
Gabe is the kind of person that pretends to let everything just be known, but plays what's important close to the chest, because there's what else can you do?
There's too
Like,
much on the
that's
line.
true.
Yeah.
I think.
So,
Go ahead.
real quick, Junie, that does lead to a question. I do still have vials from when I was a thin blood of different disciplines. Are those still applicable, or are they just gone?
They are still applicable to a thin blood, but not to you.
Gotcha. Okay, so
You do not have the discipline anymore to activate.
of the thin bloodery. Okay.
Correct.
But you know what? We can still have fun playing with it.
Yeah. I mean, we'll
In the name of
dissect
science.
it. Yeah. Dissect it. It'd be a
Science.
donation to the Church of Gabe.
Right?
By the way,
Be
I
like,
could have done
"Ooh,
this.
I want to
with
play
my
with
life."
this. Yeah, I mean, it's Frank's not using it anymore because he's fell into his own. So that might be something he would actually do. Is this like, oh, this is taking up space? Hey, Gabe, you want some thin blood sorcery?
Do
Or
I
alchemy?
want free shit? Of course I do.
Yeah, exactly. Then I would
Yeah.
put it down in your little area.
Yeah.
Then I have a feeling you're going to try and reverse engineer it.
I imagine so.
Why would I try that?
Oh yeah, it's inferior alchemy.
Why would I try that?
Because it's
Why would I
knowledge.
try
Knowledge.
Sarcasm.
Yeah.
No.
For me, if Trisha, if my character, my Tremere got a hold of that, oh hell yeah, she'd try to reverse engineer
Yep.
that shit. Because the
Yep.
moment that she can unlock that and be like, oh, I can turn around and get this blood and that blood, and I don't have to turn around and try and snack on somebody
Yep.
to get a discipline, and I can do this, and then I can make money off of it. Oh, check please.
Yeah, to fractionate the blood down to just core disciplines and just sell that to the highest bidder through major
What?
boon.
Who wants celerity?
Yeah. Oh god.
Yeah. And then that's exactly what Gabe would do too. Would be to try to duplicate and replicate,
Now
Yeah.
the thing is
Yeah.
that
break it down.
as a storyteller, I don't know if that is possible.
And that's just a bridge that we'll have to burn. Because
The
I
only
don't know if it's possible either.
here's the
Playing
thing
with
is,
fire.
but there
that leads
is
to
there's a Tremere path that is called alchemy.
Yeah,
So,
but
it
I don't
is-
have that.
This is true, but that
you might know
again,
somebody that does. Was Edward an
Possibly.
alchemist? No.
he had the techno. He had the techno.
Technomancy.
Yeah, I don't use my paths that much. I think it's because I need to put more points in them so I can efficiently use them for things.
And
Gotcha.
give me a moment because my mind is going. I don't remember what you're doing.
I have
anymore.
biological
Yes.
thaumaturgy and focus mind.
Yes, you do. Well, the folk. Ah,
Oh god, Junie's face just lit up like a Christmas tree.
that's. Oh, I did do the call right. I'm very happy for myself. The reason why, between you were doing recurring time on Gabe, and being that they have focused mind readiness, that's why it negated. I forgot
Gotcha.
about that. I'm
Yeah.
So
Cheats
recurring
are
mind wouldn't work.
wonderfully-
I would have to get the speed move on you.
Yeah. Plus, on top of that,
Yeah.
with thermatological forensics, depending if you broke down that the
Compound.
blood, if you broke down the blood bond, compound, that could help you. You would definitely need to have alchemy then to break it down further.
Like I said, I just need to put more into the paths. I've been focusing on taking so much of the rituals because that's a utilitarian thing, but like I need to start saving up those experience points to get those path stuff taken care of. So
I would definitely start looking into that.
yeah.
Because the way that you're handling it, I mean, don't get me wrong, the way you're handling it right now is fantastic. But I would like to see you actually dive into the paths a bit more.
Yeah, I need to.
I mean, even though the paths aren't technically around and they're not V5 friendly,
I took them for reasons. I need to make sure that I'm exploiting those reasons.
Oh, absolutely, you
So-
did yesterday without me knowing it.
Yeah.
Sorry, Frank.
Monster. No, it's fine. It's fine. No, that's on point though. But that would definitely be something Frank might actually assist with, because if he chugged one just to test it out in the future and he's like, oh, it doesn't work, and gives it to Gabe, be like, let me know if you need any help. I can show you how I did it.
Yeah.
That'd be
And,
cool.
I mean, that would be something that, between Gabe's occult rolls, my occult rolls,
Between the two of us, we've got a cult and
alchemy.
intelligence out the
Yeah,
ass. So
exactly.
Not
Yeah,
wrong.
And
Yeah.
if we spend a week or two working on it, we might actually make a breakthrough.
I was
Which,
gonna say your intelligence is probably higher than Gabe's right now, because I think I've only got a 3 in intelligence.
Yeah, I got a 4 because
Yeah.
True Bruja, and
Also,
memorizing all those formulas and
Don't
shit.
forget, you guys can rouse your blood to increase
Yeah,
your.
extra
I know
points.
you'd mentioned that yesterday, and I didn't know that. So like,
Okay.
that is definitely something
Okay.
I want to take
I'm
advantage
in max or high. I do things on role
B-Day
play
server.
Yeah, on B-Day server. Whenever I have to turn around, now stats, you cannot use the rousing of. You cannot rouse blood to up your skills. It's only your attributes you can do this to. Now,
Yeah.
of course, you might get hungrier, but that's the roll
Right.
of the dice.
So
But-
Clotho's gift is basically that.
Not wrong.
If you think about it, like.
But you look at it from the standpoint of, say you're doing an intelligence occult, and you only have 4 intelligence. That's, let's see, hold on. We'll use Gabe really quick. Hi. So Gabe has
3 and
5.
3.
okay. You have 3 and 3. Okay, good.
I haven't sent you the updated. I have 3
Yeah.
Nicole now.
Okay.
So
So you have 3 and 3. If you were to rouse your witch, you'd have 7.
yeah.
You'd have that extra die. So that's
Yeah.
why I said to Abel yesterday, I said, don't forget, you can't, yes, beat him off. You want to beat off that bad
Sorry.
roll. You're fine.
Yeah.
You're fine.
Frank's in trouble.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is the point where Frank realized he married a Bruja. So,
I would say a gangrel.
no, Bruja. 100% on that one. Thank you for that point. So, wow. Anyhow, back on point. Again, you can roll that extra to start with the attribute. Give yourself that extra die. Apparently, Frank needs to turn around and hit obfuscate. But that's the thing of it all, is that you could always add that extra die. So say you were doing a dexterity and brawl roll, and you knew for a fact you needed to turn around and you needed that extra die. You could rouse your blood to give you that extra dice in.
And to be fair, that's probably where I would use it because it's not my strong suit.
Right,
So,
but even though, I mean, even I'm looking here, even your wits and intelligence. Instead of, because it's 5 XP times that level that you're going up to, so you'd need 20 XP to go up to intelligence of 4. Well, here's the thing, is that why do that when all you have to do is do a roll of the dice and you've got intelligence 4?
Yeah.
It's a
that's true.
saver at the time. It's a saver when you're actually needing that roll, when you actually have to have
If you
that.
have the resource to use it, that was the thing.
Yeah,
Like, if you have the blood to spare, then by all means. But
And once again, I think that's part of it comes down to that fear of like, I don't want to see Gabe so hungry that he like,
makes a mistake.
yes, yeah,
Well, fortunately, beasts are very singular. Like, mine doesn't use powers. Nobody else's, to my knowledge, has used powers when they're hungry, short of certain Lasombra in a basement somewhere.
You know, they're always somewhere. But I look at it from the standpoint of if you're going to turn around and worry about the hunger, that's where I always come in with, making sure you've got a cooler full of blood bags.
yeah,
Making sure that you've got everything taken care of to the point of you're walking out with Gabe, Amelia, maybe Abel. You all have 6 bags within a cooler, so now you've got 24 bags.
yeah,
Yeah,
So, or I'm sorry, 18 bags because I can't multiply apparently.
that's fine. Basic mathematics.
Yeah, but you understand it says it's that taking that extra step, and being
Right.
that we were doing this back in the 90s, going, oh my god, how can I make max my character with all of these other different merits and sheets and bullshit?
Imagine a world where you actually have
Yeah.
to take flaws to get extra
it's just
points.
it's funny though how
Did.
fast it happens. I mean, because when you think about it, like, I'm pretty sure I spent all my willpower and my gained those hunger just in the scene with trying to make sure that Abel was okay in the fighting area. Like, I think I had used 1 willpower before prior to that, but like,
Yeah, it was probably to chain me up, or it was for something else. I think that was the only big roll
Yeah.
that you had to do.
And for us, I mean,
Yeah.
we lost willpower. There was a way to gain it back. There's
Yeah,
not-
we have that now though because of the
We-
rule set that you're using.
You're right.
I was gonna
I'm-
say, yeah, I'm also down a willpower permanently because of the Haven. So
No, because of the ghouling.
The was it the ghouling or the haven?
It was the ghouling.
It's one of them. Yeah.
Yeah, it was the
I'm
ghouling.
permanently down.
Because havens don't reduce it, to my
No,
knowledge.
havens
Otherwise, I
don't
would be
do it.
down as well. I'm pretty sure it's because you ghouled the cat.
No, that would have been a humanity if she had failed.
Hang
the
on.
roll.
Let me double check. I don't remember which one. All I know is that I'm permanently
First
down.
available supporter.
You're not wrong. No, for ghouling, you would have had to take a stain, 2 stains, but you roll resolution for that, and then you have the chance of dropping humanity. But,
Yeah, we can figure that out later. But,
I don't know. We're on episode 14. I don't remember what we did in episode 2.
I generally do, but
Yeah, I don't remember either.
it was oddly specific.
All right, well, we'll figure it out.
I remember. Everyone was chilling at my warehouse because it was a safe place, and then they're like, "Oh, let's go to a house somewhere else." And then 3 episodes later, the house got blown up, and you know what's still standing? My warehouse.
Yeah, I haven't blown it up yet.
Don't say yet. Don't say yet. I put 3 points in that haven, Junie. Don't say yet.
I know, but points can be moved.
Oh, he's so grumpy.
I know, it's adorable.
He's so grumpy.
Don't give me a challenge.
Oh yeah, no, it was Hidden Haven. Caster sacrifices a permanent willpower point.
Got you. All right.
Yep.
There we go. Yeah, that would
Yeah.
do it. So what
So-
you're saying is that if your haven gets McFuckled and Junie gives you those points back, you get an extra willpower.
Oh, I think it's permanent. I
Storytellers.
permanently put my willpower into that. That doesn't go away just because the shit gets fucked.
By the way, Gabe still has that hidden haven.
I didn't even know he had a haven.
Well, hence why it's hidden.
The more you know.
Dun 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 dun.
Yeah. Yeah.
See that star flying over with the rainbow right behind it.
You're right. You're right.
So, yeah.
We're going on about 2 hours now. Did we want to go ahead and knock out closing comments and wrap up for everybody that's been watching?
Goals! What do you have?
I will write them to you. No. I could go over them. You got anything first, Gabe, or do you want me to just chime in?
I think probably looking into the lake surrounding area, just general gathering information about that area, would be goal number 1. Goal number 2 is probably some form of annoyment to William. Goal number 3, checking in with Johnny. Then there's probably a couple other ones that I can send to you.
Okay, and if you're looking at chat really quick, it's spelled Waukegan.
Waukegan.
Oh, Keegan.
Yum.
Yum.
Wait. Are we eating the lake?
It tastes like chicken.
I don't know. I honestly don't think you want to eat the lake.
Probably not. What she said.
Yeah.
That's how you tackle.
But that's where Waukegan is.
Yeah. So yeah, Gabe would be looking at like the surrounding area and that kind of information. Would probably also probe Olivia a little bit, see if she knows anything about that area.
Sure, because yeah, True Bruja is living right now. Truly, Bruja is living their best. No, Bruja is living their best life right now.
So, Frank's goals for the immediate future. Monday night, he'd probably reach out to Gwen and let her know that there was a little excursion into Chicago at a brouhaha. And he would phrase it as such, that in joke with faked my own death, LOL.
Okay.
Took care of old man. He won't be an issue.
Yeah, that'll be entertaining as well.
And then, in regards to next steps, I know that he is going to try to make some progress on the blood curse side of things, because that's been something he's been putting off to the side because Gabe's been taking point on it. And I mean, it's not really Frank's problem anymore since he's not on payroll for it.
It's everyone's problem.
Exactly. And that's the only reason why Frank's circling back around to it, is because it is still a problem and he likes puzzles. And this is one jigsaw that he hasn't cracked yet. Like he's familiar, he knows where
Yeah.
somewhat where.
Oh, don't worry, Gabe's
those
Gabe's
details.
frustrated too. Don't you worry.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
it's that's the reason why you get up from the table once in a while. And you're just like, okay, I'm gonna leave this puzzle here. I'm gonna make sure all the
Yeah.
pieces are here. The cat won't play with it. It'll be fine.
Gabe can't do that.
Yeah, Gabe has.
He has to just change his view. He has to like, what if I
Yeah.
stand on this side of the table, or what if I look at it upside down? I don't
Yeah.
know.
Frank's just gonna come in and stand on the desk and be like, all right, what do you got? And crouch down to Gabe's level.
Oh
Yeah.
my god, that'll be funny.
But that would be goal number 2 for Frankadoodle-Doo. And then goal number 3 would probably be he figures that the Reaper will probably do it, but because he was directly involved, he would make mention and walk into the pizza place and meet with William to say, hey, there was this excursion into Camarilla territory. We fucked them up good. Everyone was willing, but figured you should know in case your Reaper did not inform you.
Oh, Gabe and Frank can coordinate. I can go with you,
Oh, okay. Yeah, I mean,
and then you can tell him that, and then I can do the thing to annoy William, which would be to, I don't know, probably bring him some stupid gift that means absolutely nothing. Just see how he takes
I mean,
it.
you'd walk in through the mirror before I got there an hour.
Exactly, and then be like, "Oh, Frank, you're here. Join us."
Oh, by the way, before I forget, after they hang up the phone, there would have been a knock at the bathroom door, and if William opened it, Rachel would have been there.
Oh, yeah, he would open
Imagine.
it because he'd be like, is that why she asked about a bathroom? It's bad enough they know how to use mirrors.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You don't want. She'd probably look at him and go, "You don't want people seeing me enter in the front door or the back."
Exactly. Galaga sound.
Mm-hmm. And she'd
Boom.
she'd probably be explaining to him in no uncertain terms that people can see and watch very easily, and it's best to
That I'm
scrub-
very much aware of. And, we'd go down that
Oh
rabbit hole.
yeah. No.
Condescending back and forth between the two of them.
Actually, she wouldn't. She cut that really quick. She cut that short, going, "Well, that's not why I'm here. We're here to talk business. If you want to condescend me, let's do that later."
I meant nothing by condescension. I just want to make sure you were aware that I am not spring chicken, so to speak. And,
Oh yeah, then she'll actually
Yeah, it
scan
would be
his
that-
life. She'll scan his body to prove it.
yeah. I mean, there would be a low, grade, if that happened in front of Gabe, it would be a matter of, wow, William actually isn't a douche. He just comes across as because of his upbringing.
Oh, 100%.
Gabe doesn't care why you're a douche.
He just cares that he's a healthy douche.
That you're a healthy
It's like this is a good dish.
Just that you do your job well and shit gets done.
I gotta say, I'm looking forward to a future session where Gabe meets an age.
Oh, that'll be cool.
Yeah, I mean, I think we set that up well by saying, make sure you call. If you get his helper, just make sure you ask for Daddy.
Because
That way
Gabe's
he
gonna
knows
be
you mean
like,
business.
Gabe's gonna be like, tell me all of the things. Tell me all of them. I must know.
The thing about Rachel is that she's a life mage, so that's the complete opposite of what you
I
are.
don't care. I don't
Thirst
care.
for
That's not the
knowledge.
point. It's
Oh my
still
God,
really
you're thirsty.
cool.
You're
Yes,
thirsty.
I'm thirsty because I'm dealing with this group. I've been deprived.
Oof. Oh God, we need to throw Gabe a lifeline stat. Give him a little, give him a
Not
straw,
wrong, not wrong.
get him an IV of blood. Just put that thing in his mouth and be like, oh. I'm never
That
doing that
too.
on stream again. Don't clip that, please don't.
Ever clip. Oh, Jesus. No, I'm not clipping that one. Thank you very much.
Yeah. And on that note, any closing comments since we have you okay there?
I'm not clipping it.
Oh. Fuck. All right. On that note, thank you guys for joining us for Take a Breath, our weekly review. I'm Frank. That's Gabe. And that's Junie Von Esch, our storyteller. We appreciate you all for joining us, and we'll see you next Saturday.
Bye.
Yeah, bye.
Bye.